G'day everyone. Today we're here with Chris Baskerville from Jirsch Sutherland. Over 20 years in insolvency.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a long time, Lem.
You can tell by this wall how an illustrious career and well appointed in the industry. So
yeah, some say they're all fake, and I just got a mate in China. So.
yeah. There's a T in Christopher, isn't there? Yeah. So we're here to chat today about ATO debt. I've just found a lot of customers are approaching me about it and what the rules changing with their tax deduction availability for that. So we just want to catch up with Chris today because it's something on your radar at the moment, right? It's a big,
we see it all the time. I mean, what I didn't really appreciate, and this is 20 years in the game, is COVID had a negative impact on the entire insolvency profession. Because when the ATO takes their foot off the gas on enforcement, it doesn't create the urgency that directors need sometimes to go and get proper advice. Yeah. So then the converse is true, which is when the ATO then puts the foot to the floor on enforcement, the phones start ringing for us again.
Yes. Well, so enforcement they eased off during COVID, and now they've picked back up again.
Yeah.
So are we just blaming COVID for this, or is it is there something bigger that's at play?
Oh, look, every taxpayer should be lodging their tax returns and paying taxes. That's the basic premises behind it. But I think when the whole world basically went into this emergency COVID relief element, and governments around the world were just throwing money at their economy so that they didn't turn into a train smash.
Sure.
Because all the insolvency practitioners started having high fives with each other going, well, this is it. This is our moment in time. And if the world economy is going to go into a train smash, we've got 20 years coming at us of great work. But sadly, no, that went the exact opposite.
So what did the ATO debt sit at before COVID?
Yeah, pre-COVID, the ATO was roughly chasing $20 to $25 billion of due and payable outstanding debt. So that's debt that the taxpayers owe the taxman right now.
Okay.
During COVID, because the enforcement came off, that doubled to approximately $50 billion.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
It's now sitting at about $105 billion.
Wow.
So now, what does that mean? That potentially means there's been a real lag between taxpayers taking their time to lodge all of these outstanding returns from a while back, and as soon as those tax returns come in, triggers immediate liabilities.
Okay.
And so that could be a reason why it's basically 4 times the pre-COVID level.
It's crazy. But 25 billion is probably normal pre-COVID for what was outstanding. Roughly? Yeah,
I guess you could say, what's normal?
Yeah,
Mate,
right.
Our version of normal, potentially, that's the case. There is argument out there, and I think this is an academic argument, but there's arguments to say, but there's more businesses now in Australia, and if you look at the ABS stats, that is true.
Yeah.
We've added more businesses to the Australian economy, so it naturally goes to that. Tax debts ought to follow that as well. So let's just say, yes, that's normal.
Okay, normal. Yeah, good. Okay. So then we're chatting this morning, and this is what prompted this this catch-up, mate, because some of the steps, or what are the steps the ATO are taking to try and recoup this debt? Yeah,
well, we've literally just released a media release today, and because we think it's the ATO's war on debt.
Okay, right.
Not to be confused with George W. Bush's war on terror. But it could be,
just
the metaphor might stack up.
Sure.
But let's just say the ATO is effectively going, well, we've got 105 billion out there. They think at least half of it is absolutely recoverable.
Okay.
So they're pulling out all stops.
Yep.
So what does that mean?
Yeah.
There's about 7 things that they're using.
Yep.
Obviously, they chase the debt internally.
Yep.
They chase the debt externally.
Yep.
They are now putting people's credit files now. Anyone with a debt over 100 grand that's 90 days overdue, and you're not talking to the tax man about paying, they're putting that on your credit profile now.
Oh, this is just even just BAS lodgements as well, 90 days. BAS lodgements?
Just a tax debt.
Any tax debt.
Literally. So I don't think they just say, you owe us more than 100 grand, bang, in she goes. Now we start to look at, well, what are the more severe tools that they've got in their arsenal? Director penalty notices is a big one. And I mean, director penalties have been around a while, but the essential mechanism is we are going to give a notice to a director that you've got 21 days and then to do something, or you're about to wear personal liability of the company's tax debt.
Sure.
And some of it is automatic. Some of it is you can't avoid it. And it's usually got everything to do with how late your lodgements are
okay.
with the tax man.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it? If people are just lodging on time, they can avoid the DPNs, and even if they've got the tax debt, right? It's better to just lodge on time.
Yeah, we often say report your sins even if you can't pay for them.
Yeah, I like that.
Just report your sins.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Now, so in our language,
Yeah.
and insolvency practitioners talk completely different language to normal accountants, even though we are professional accountants apparently.
Yes, so professional.
Is you've got a non-lockdown and a lockdown.
Okay.
So a lockdown DPN means you are late on your lodgements.
Yep.
You are automatically liable for the debt personally at law.
Wow.
Can't get out of it. You just got to pay it or live with the consequences.
Yep.
The non-lockdown, the commissioner must give you 21 days to take one of four actions.
Yeah.
Obviously pay the tax bill.
Sure. Yeah.
Who would have thought that might be an option?
Yeah. It's a good option. Yeah.
Consider the appointment of a voluntary administrator.
Yep.
Consider the appointment of a liquidator, and put in small business restructuring.
Yep.
Those four things will remit the penalty.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're on time, you get options. If you're not on time, you have no option.
And after 21 days, if you don't,
it's an automatic liability on the director's shoulders.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. So
director penalty notice is one of the other avenues.
Yeah.
The more severe ones, even sort of going beyond that, is what we call a garnishing notice.
Yep.
So that's where the tax man, I'll just use that as just a generic term, not trying to offend anyone.
No.
But the tax man reaches into the taxpayer's bank account and grabs the tax money and pulls it out.
Okay.
So in other words, they literally just go and grab your cash.
Okay.
That can hurt businesses because imagine if you owed wages the next day and all of the tax money has just been taken out.
Yeah.
So that can hurt.
Yeah.
But they can go one more step further than that. They go and grab the money from the taxpayer's customer. So they go to your debtor's ledger and say, hey, you owe this taxpayer money.
Yeah.
Instead of paying the taxpayer, we want you to direct those monies to the tax man directly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So just think about how that would have an impact on working capital.
Yeah. It's not great. It's not great.
Yeah.
And something you can't plan for really. If you're, one day it's there, next day it's gone.
Yeah, correct. And then there's some of the mechanisms. They will liquidate companies if you owe the money. They'll bankrupt people if you owe the money. So those two have always been there, very, very common, and every day you see it in the list. But I've been in the game 20 years, and I've never seen a departure prohibition order.
Oh yeah, this one's good.
So what the tax man basically says is, if we are going to stop you leaving the country until you pay the outstanding tax bill.
Yep.
And in one particular example, a fellow Australian taxpayer was shifting assets overseas, and the tax man is aware of this. Mm-hmm. And so they say, well, sorry, you're not leaving the country until you pay the taxes. Wow. And not even bankruptcy is a remedy.
Wow. Oh, once you've done it.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily a remedy. So wow, that's big.
Okay. So they're not mucking around anymore.
They're not mucking around.
Yeah, okay. You touched on the SBR stuff before. Maybe that's a good point to talk about, because that seems like a decent option for people that maybe it's gone too far, or there is some outs in that regard, or?
Yeah, so in COVID, because I think we recognise, wow, it's going to be a train smash out there, right?
Yeah.
The government was looking around for, well, what can we do in the insolvency space as a solution? I mean, the government effectively kneecapped our entire industry for about 9 months to a year, right? Yeah. So they basically said you can't sue anyone. Yeah. All the limits of what you can do to sue someone all went up. So of course everyone's like, but I had the 10 grand before COVID, but now what you're telling me? Unless it's 100 grand, I can't do anything. Yeah. So they basically kneecapped us. They effectively gave directors about a 9-month window for insolvent trading and be absolved. Oh, yeah, okay. For it. I mean, effectively, in loose roundabout terms.
Sure, yeah.
We don't want to bore your customers with the details. So they gave them that ability. So then the government introduced that they were trying to mirror what America does under Chapter 11 of their bankruptcy code. And the Chapter 11 bankruptcy code puts the director in control of the distressed business. Introduces someone to help them put a restructuring proposal to their creditors, very court-driven, like in America that is. So our Australian government tried to do a mini version of that and introduce small business restructuring, which operates very similarly, which is, if you're a director and you have a business and you've got debts less than $1 million, you can do a deal with your creditors, maintain control of your own business, as long as you look after your employees. you're all good. And then what we're seeing is creditors are accepting a 20 to 30 cent
Wow.
return in exchange for not shutting down the business, allowing the director to continue, allowing employees to continue to be employed. So that service is just ramping up at astronomical numbers, and it's saving a lot of small businesses.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, things get out of hand, but to save staff jobs, it's pretty critical, right? I think that's government. They're keeping that in mind, and also, what's the alternative? The government gets no money back at all, shuts down a business, loses jobs. So
correct. And so in the majority of these small business restructuring cases, the ATO is the most significant voting party. So if you can't win the ATO over, you don't usually get the deal across the line. But generally, anyone that is a good taxpayer by lodgement, so good compliance history, you've looked after your employees, you've shown that you can turn your business around, like you got that little hockey stick thing starting to come to fruition. It's a viable business to save, and there's a reason. There's an extraordinary reason why we're here. COVID was obviously an excuse, but I think we can't use that too much more now. The taxman will try and find ways to say yes.
Sure, just touching on that, I've tried to help businesses fund their SBR solution, but it seems like once you're into it, it's too late to get funding. So at what step in the process, it's speak to someone like yourself first, or just a general chat? What's the process to go about the SBR?
Yeah, so generally, if directors come to us directly and they haven't come through a professional advisor, call it an accountant. I think it's probably one of the best, if not someone that understands the insolvency game very, very well. Call it a director advocate is probably the best way to say. So if a director's not coming through those two channels, there's a little bit of getting a match fit preparation. Usually requires about a month or so, which is basically saying, hey, here's your limits. This is the super you got to pay. This is the employees you got to look after. And you're either going to be slightly above the $1 million or slightly below the $1 million. We want to make sure that it does tick that box, because if you are $1 over the $1 million cap, you don't qualify.
Mate, it's worth a conversation.
It is worth a conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, the message always with all insolvency practitioners, and we always tear our hair out. As you can see, I don't have much left.
It still looks good though, mate. It does.
Thanks, mate. Is you've got to come to us early, because every time I look at these insolvency cases, I look at it and go, between 12 and 18 months before this moment in time was the time you really should have got us involved.
True.
Unfortunately.
Reactionary rather than precautionary or taking the steps. So ATO is ramping up. Is that all their strategy?
Enforcement used to be a threat, and now it's not a threat anymore. They are enforcing.
I couldn't imagine rocking up to the airport to go on a holiday and they say no, sir. You are not leaving. Pay the bill. So that's pretty serious. So, mate, is there anything that businesses can implement? Any strategies to get out of the crosshairs of the ATO?
Well, one, you lodge your things on time is the biggest one, because if you don't, then you trigger those penalties that we were just talking about earlier. But you got to get on the front foot with the taxman, and the taxman wants you to talk to them before due dates come due. So in other words, if you do trigger a liability, get to the taxman before it's due, and then do the negotiation. Because they will very rarely do deals with you after everything has become due and payable. So get on the front foot. So that's one of the big ones. But also, we were talking about triggers that should trigger a director conversation with insolvency guys like this. The common one that we see is when the directors feel that they need to reach into their own private wealth to throw capital into their business. That's a huge red flag in our land. Because that means that in your business you've got leaks in there somewhere. We're not holding the cash that's in there. It's a leaky bucket. Doesn't matter how much cash you put into a leaky bucket, it's going to leak. But the second problem we see is that when directors do reach into their own private wealth and put it into the company, they don't secure that money as if they were a bank. Like if you think about trying to borrow money from a bank, they're going to secure everything.
Absolutely.
Your progeny, or the progeny of the progeny.
Absolutely.
Whereas directors have that right, but they don't often take advantage of that.
That's a good point. Very good point. I think that sort of answers the last question about. I think we touched on it before, but when should people have a chat with you? But early.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
early.
seems to be.
I think if things don't feel right in the business and the model's wrong, and yeah, sure, a lot of directors try to solve their own problems. I totally get that.
Yeah.
But why not talk to people like us that
Yeah.
have seen the very, very worst in business, that understand what happens when, kind of think about us as the teachers of the dark arts of using a Harry Potter reference.
Yeah.
We live in the dark arts.
Sure.
That's the space we live in. So, like, if who would you want to have a conversation with to tell you what's the worst case scenario?
Yeah.
I think we're the guys for it.
Yeah, and I found with my customers, I can just put them onto you, and you'll just generally have a chit chat with them, and just generally, for free of service, just have a quick chat and see.
We generally give away a lot of our time at the beginning because it's usually a fact-finding element, which is I need to know your business and where your problems are. Yeah. You need to understand the process and which kind of hat we probably have to bring to the table.
Yeah.
So I look at it as a mutual exchange of information.
Sure.
So I don't typically see the value there. Yeah. Where the value for guys like us is when we go boots on ground and now we've got to execute the strategy. Yeah. That's the value add.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Can businesses come to you when they know another business is one of their customers, or someone's gone through insolvency? Is there something that steps those business owners can take?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're usually good referrals for, are my trading terms and conditions strong enough?
Yeah, sure.
For the what happens to my customer if they go belly up? Yeah. Absolutely, but that's definitely a prevention issue. It's a good conversation for a good commercial lawyer if you know any Liam.
Yeah, I'll find one.
Just go Yellow Pages. And
that's where I start for everything. Yeah, so
that's how you found me.
Yeah, 8881 Jirsch Sutherland. Yeah, so I believe you've got a media release coming out today, mate. Is that right, from Jirsch Sutherland?
Yeah, basically summarising our little chat here today. So for your listeners, they're going to hear it first before the media release. Wow. But effectively, it is about the ATO's enforcement and the 7 things they're doing.
Yep.
And they're chasing 105 billion, and they're chasing it hard.
Yeah, crazy. All right, mate. Well, thank you for the chat. I think that's good insight, mate. And like I said, that 1st of July deadline's coming for a lot of that ATO debt, and ATO's coming, mate. So we're trying to get ahead of it and not bury the head in the sand. So, mate, thanks for the chat today.
All right, thanks, Liam.
And mate, I'm going to send you another plaque for this wall. It's just going to say interviewed by Liam. So thank you.
Excellent. Thanks,
Cheers, mate.